What is going on, everybody? It's Noah Brewer here, back again with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the 6 biggest mistakes that beginner dropshippers make. Now, I'm not only going to be talking about, the cliche mistakes that people make, but I'm also going to be talking about the things that people do that really stop them from seeing success early on, not only in, the product testing stages or the very beginning stages, but I'm also going to throw a couple in here for you guys that already have winning products and maybe you've scaled a couple stores. I still consider you a beginner and you are still making some really big mistakes that you probably shouldn't be doing. I mean, you'd be surprised the stuff that I see when I'm working with, already established brands or people that already have winning products. The amount of mistakes that they make and the amount of money that they leave on the table due to just not knowing stuff is mind-blowing. And if you're a beginner, there's going to be a few things in here as well. So number one thing I would say is focusing on the wrong things. Now we have kind of two parts to this. We have the sales process and the metrics. So most people focus on the wrong aspects of the sales process, and almost everybody focuses on the wrong metrics, at least in the beginning and in the very beginning stages. So let's focus on the actual sales process aspect of what we're doing here. So we have a few different parts of the sales process that I want to call out, and that's with product research, store building and preparation, the actual testing of the products, and the actual scaling. So for product research, the biggest mistake I probably see people making is, just kind of going out into, Facebook or AliExpress and just trying to find products that are already selling, and they think that, just because it's selling for somebody else, that it's going to work for them. And not only is this not true, but it's also going to lead to a lot of failure and a lot of confusion and you wondering why it didn't work. And what I would like to encourage beginners to do in terms of their product research is to actually follow a feedback loop, which I just made a video about this a couple weeks ago, that allows you to, find products that you think are good based on your own opinions and not just based on, how well it's selling, and then do your best to give it a shot and see how it goes. And then you use this feedback loop to recognize patterns and actually focus on getting good at finding good products and increasing your success rate when product testing. There's a huge difference between doing that and just going on Dropship Center on AliExpress and just being like, oh, this product sold 1,000, let's whip up a store and test it, and then wondering why it doesn't work. Common issues with the store build and the product preparation. So obviously the biggest mistake that people make with the store build and the product preparation is simply spending too much time worrying about how the store looks and worrying about, is my ad video good? Is this good? Is that good? In reality, what you should be doing is you should go to somebody's YouTube channel, figure out what they're doing that's working, and just model it. And the reason you want to do this is because instead of, trying to come up with everything on your own and worrying, is this the right way to do things? Is this the wrong way to do things? You can actually see what has already worked for somebody else, and you don't want to copy it word for word. That's definitely not what you want to do. But, you can copy their store design structure, just put in your own images, your own text, stuff like that. You can copy the structure of their ad copy. You can copy the structure of their product description. You can replicate the way that they structure their product page. There's a lot of things that, are already out there, especially on my channel. Like, I've done videos on ad copy, product descriptions, how to make product pages with, custom page builders and, normal Shopify, how I set up my website, everything like this. So, don't just whip something together and test it and hope that it works. And if it doesn't work, you get upset. What you want to do is follow a proven method. Don't copy anything word for word, but just follow a proven structure and you'll be fine. So with the actual product testing, specifically with Facebook ads, I'm not going to get into other platforms, but I would say one of the more common issues with product testing is, getting married to a product or sticking with a product for too long, more than you should. With my agency clients and with my own stores, I only stick with a product for 2 days. I'm just like in and out. I want to know very quickly, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? That way I can minimize losses while product testing, and I can move on very quickly. And that kind of just keeps me focused straight on what really matters, which is, finding a winning product. And because it's very easy to find one product that you think will do very, very well, and then you give it 2 days and it doesn't do well, and you're like, oh, I'm going to try a different ad, and then that doesn't do well, and you're like, oh, I'm going to redesign the website, and then that doesn't do well, and it's like, oh, I'm going to try a different ad again, and you can just go down this huge rabbit hole, where you spend tons of money and tons of time testing a product that was never going to work from the beginning. So I would say find a proven method and stick to it. Don't get married to products, and know when the time is to kill and when the time is to scale or keep testing. And, the scaling part of the sales process, which I won't get into too much, I'd say the biggest issue with beginners trying to scale a store is when they should be scaling, they just keep on testing. This really important quote to the success of my life and the success of my agency, my stores, everything that I do has been, if something works really well, keep doing it. And this is very difficult to do because you get emotional, right? You want to test different things. You want to see if you can get it to be better. And it's very hard to kind of rest on something and just try to scale what you already have. But I will confidently say that this is probably the biggest mistake that a lot of people do inside of their ad accounts that allows them to, not get the full scale, not to get the full amount of profits that they should be getting from their scale. Let's get into the other side of focusing on the wrong things and talk about metrics. Now, we all know that if you're doing e-commerce and you're doing dropshipping with, Shopify, Facebook ads, stuff like that, you're in it for the money. Now, I do want to say that results come from where you put your focus. And the issue is that a lot of beginners think it's okay to, optimize for engagement, optimize for video views, page likes. I'm talking about when they create their campaigns here, they'll optimize for all these different things except for purchases, right? Like they try to optimize their ads for everything except for what they're trying to get, which is just astronomically stupid. I've been saying this for years, and there's been a lot of other big guys in the space that have said like, oh, start off with optimizing for video views and stuff. And I've always just been, fuck it, skip all that bullshit, just go straight for the purchase because that's what we're all here for. And like I said, results come where you put your focus. So if you're optimizing for video views, of course you're gonna get a ton of video views. If you optimize for purchase, you should be getting purchases, right? It's not gonna focus on video views. It's gonna focus on video views to get people in the door to be able to purchase. That's the difference between those two. So make sure that when you're creating your campaigns, you're optimizing for the correct conversion event that you want. The other thing is the columns. I know a lot of people use the default Facebook columns, or they use some dude on the internet named Facebook ad ROAS dude 69, and they just take their columns and they're good, right? Well, I set up my columns in a very specific way to actually follow the sales process. And with these columns, you can actually focus on like what really matters in your situation. So like I said, I have it on the screen right now. You can see I have amount spent just so that you know how much you're spending. You have reach so that you can make sure that there's no, impressions issues or reach issues. You have link clicks. This way, the only reason I have reach and link clicks is just so that you can compare each, ad set and campaign and make sure that there's nothing out of the ordinary, by the way. You have add to cart, checkouts initiated, which you don't even need these two if you already have a winning product. But these are sometimes helpful during testing, just so that you can see like, okay, is this product getting a ton of add to carts? If it is and it's not getting any purchases, then you can break down the campaign and see, where are those add to carts coming from. You can go on your website and see like, why are people not purchasing? Maybe you forgot to set up your shipping. Maybe the product is out of stock. There could be a lot of different issues that, having add to cart in your columns could be really helpful. And then obviously the metrics that we really, really care about, which is purchases, cost per purchase, the conversion value, and the ROAS. So just set your columns up like this and just look at it like this. You don't need to know, cost per 3-second view. You don't need reach and impressions in one column set. You don't need CPMs. You don't need cost per click. Keep things simple so that you can focus on what really matters. So the number one way that you can make more profits off of a product like fairly easily is with retargeting. And I would say the number one mistake that a lot of people make when they find a winning product, or maybe if they own a brand, especially brand owners, I've been working with a few recently, and it is just insane the amount of money that we make them with retargeting that they just had no idea that they were leaving on the table. And you may think like, oh yeah, if I find a winner, of course I'm going to do retargeting. But when you're in the heat of the moment, you'd be very, very, very surprised how many people actually don't take advantage of retargeting and don't, spend the correct amount of money and all this stuff. So, to give you an example, when you're at scale, when you're truly, pushing numbers, let's say $10,000 to $15,000 a day in revenue, you can spend, 10 to 15% of your ad spend on retargeting. I've even gone as far to be spending 40 to 50% of ad spend on retargeting, because if it works, we just want to keep doing it. So this sounds really crazy. I just met a brand owner out in Miami, and we were talking for a little bit about retargeting and what he's doing. I believe he was spending like $10,000 to $15,000 every single day on Facebook, and he was only spending like $500 a day on retargeting. And I'm like, dude, like you could probably spend 2 to 3K a day and, increase your profits massively just by implementing, some basic retargeting campaigns. And that's not even going super in depth on what retargeting has to offer. Retargeting is one of the main reasons Facebook ads are so valuable when scaling, is because there's so many different audiences, so many different time frames. You can do different creatives. There's a million different things, literally a million different things that you can do with retargeting that work very, very well. And this is the reason that I'm actually going to work on a full retargeting training to show you all the different things and the best ways to utilize them, so that when you do have a winning product, you can make sure that you're making the most of it and you make the most amount of money from it. So another one for you guys out there that have winning products already, maybe you're a little bit new, it's your first winner, your second winner, your third winner, whatever, and that is not taking customer service and fulfillment seriously. And not only seriously, extra seriously, because once you're successful, your customer service and your fulfillment defines how long you're actually able to stay successful for. You wouldn't believe how many people I see go and find a winner, scale up to like 2 to 3K a day, lose track of their customer service and their fulfillment, and then all of a sudden they get a feedback score ban, or all of a sudden they get they get banned from PayPal, or they get flooded with chargebacks on Stripe, or whatever the reason is. You can be successful without having great customer service, and you can be successful with long shipping times, yes, but it's not going to last very long. And this is something that you have to understand, and it is a common mistake that I see with people on their first winning products, their second winning products. They just want to do the ads and do the marketing end of it, which is great. But if you're an e-commerce business owner, you need to handle the back end as well, like the customer support, fulfillment. I would get a customer support VA and invest a lot of time into training them and building loyalty with them, so that they stick with your brand and they treat it like it's theirs. And you do right by your customers. You teach them the right ethics, the right mindset to actually have happy customers at the end of the day. And then, once you're doing like 500 to 1,000 a day, I would recommend setting up a shipping system that allows you to get at least under 15-day shipping times. It doesn't matter how you do it. You can do it with an agent. You can do US shipping. You can bulk order. There's many different options out there, and I believe I actually have a video about this on my channel as well. But there's no reason that you should have 30-day shipping times if you're a couple weeks into a product and it's going very, very well. Invest some time, invest some money into testing different shipping options out there, just so that you can offer the best shipping to your customers as you possibly can. And the last one I would say is more for beginners, but it can also be applicable if you've had a few stores, or if you've been in dropshipping for a few years. It's definitely still applicable to me today, and that is sticking with dropshipping until it works, right? Like every single step of the process. If you're a very beginner, it takes time to learn. If you're implementing and going out there and taking action for the first time, it's going to take time for it to work and for you to be able to find a winning product and see success. And then once you do find a winning product, you got to be patient again. Now it's going to take time to actually scale, and it could even take more time to actually be able to scale profitably, depending on how good the product is that you found. And then once you scale profitably, now it's going to take time to become consistent, right? Like now you have to scale it up and then, do the work to maintain your profits, maintain your revenue figures. And that's also going to take time. And even once you get to that point, Facebook could ban you overnight and you could lose your entire store over nothing. So you also need a lot of time for the e-commerce business model as a whole to actually become reliable and a steady stream of income for yourself. So this is something that doesn't go away. And sadly, a lot of people can't even make it past the fact that it takes time to find a winning product. If you can't be patient enough and persistent enough to even find a winning product, you're not going to make it very far in this game, because it takes a lot of patience and a lot of little things that kind of add up. So like I said, every single step of the process requires patience, and everything takes time. And if you can't even make it past the first 1 or 2 steps, you're screwed. You might as well just walk away and go after a different business model. But one thing that I can say is it is 100% worth it every single step of the way. You can have a little win and pop some whiskey with your friends and just be like, hey, we found a winning product today, let's go. It's not a huge win, but it's a step in the right direction. And I think that it's important for you to understand that, this isn't something that you're going to get rich quick in, but it is important to, kind of celebrate the successes and put in that little bit of hustle every single day. So those are the 5 mistakes that I think most beginners and people with a little bit of experience make. Now, if any of these are relatable, let me know in the comments. If you have any stories that you can tell about things that you overcame or mistakes that you made in the past, I would love to hear your story. And I'm sure that the other viewers will find it interesting to kind of go down there and check them out as well, as not only will you be helping me, gain more experience by hearing your story, but you also be helping the other viewers gain more experience by hearing your story. So if you have anything to share, leave a comment. If you like the video, leave a like and subscribe for more content similar to this. And yeah, that's it for this video. This is Noah Brewer, and I'm out. Peace.